and they tried to kill the next president of the United States. Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
This goes hard. This goes fucking nutty. It's kind of cool.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. You know something? When I came here tonight, there was so much energy in this room. I felt maybe I was in Madison Square Garden getting ready to win another world title. Or maybe I thought the vibe was so intense, the energy was so crazy, it felt like maybe I was gonna press that no good stinky giant over my head and slam him through the mat, brother.
Who?
But what I found out was I was in a room full of real Americans, brother.
Yeah. No undocumented migrant Latinos in here, brother.
With our leader up there, my hero, that gladiator, we're gonna bring America back together. One real American at a time, brother.
Oh my God, he's so happy. He's so happy. He fell asleep during JD Vance's speech and also his son's speech, but he's smiling ear to ear, dude.
You know something? I've seen some great tag teams in my time. Hulk Hogan and, ooh yeah, the Macho Man Randy Savage. But you know something? I see the greatest tag team of my life.
Don't say JD
standing
Vance.
upon us, getting ready.
Don't say Donald Trump or JD Vance. Oh God, don't put JD Vance in that equation. Don't do it. That's nasty.
You know, even though you guys are real Americans, you better get ready. Because when Donald J. Trump becomes the president of the United States, all the real Americans are gonna be nicknamed Trumpites. Because all the Trumpites are gonna be running wild for 4 years. And I see all the real Americans. I think about how Donald Trump, his family was compromised. When I look out there and I see Donald Trump, I think about how his business was compromised. But what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero and they tried to kill the next president of the United States? Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
This goes hard. This goes fucking nutty. It's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. Holy fuck. Holy fuck, that shit was fire. That was sick.
You know something, Trumpites? I didn't come here as Hulk Hogan, but I just had to give you a little taste. You know, my name is Terry Bollea. And as an entertainer, I love you too. And as an entertainer, I tried to stay out of politics. But after everything that's happened to our country over the past 4 years and everything that happened last weekend, I can no longer stay silent.
Nah, you should have kept silent, bro.
I'm here tonight because I want the world to know that Donald Trump is a real American hero. And I'm proud to support my hero as the next president of this United States. You know, guys, I've known Donald Trump for over 35 years. You know, hold on a second, hold on.
The Rock has to come out of the DNC.
I just had a flashback, man. This is really tripping. You know, the last time I was up on stage, Donald Trump was sitting at ringside at the Trump Plaza. I was bleeding like a pig, and I won the world title right in front of Donald J. Trump. And you know something?
Bro, look at his fucking, like, arm skin just
We're going to
flapping.
be champions again when he wins. And like I said, I've known that man for over 35 years, and he's always been the biggest patriot, and he still is. He's always told you exactly what he thought, and he still does, brother. And no matter the odds, he always finds a way to win. And when he's back in our White House, America is going to start winning again. You know, guys, over my career, I've been in the ring with some of the biggest, some of the baddest dudes on the planet. And I've squared off against warriors, ooh yeah, savages. And I've even, like I said, body slammed giants in the middle of the ring. And I know tough guys. But let me tell you something, brother. Donald Trump is the toughest of them all. They've thrown everything at Donald Trump. All the investigations, the impeachments, the court case.
Do people think that, like, Hulk Hogan actually is the character that he played? Because he's, like, kind of speaking like he's... like he was, like, actually wrestling.
You know, we never had it better than the Trump years. Back then, we had a thriving economy. We had strong borders. We had safe streets. We had peace and respect around the world. But then we lost it all in a blink of an eye. Crime is out of control. The border is out of control. The price of food and gas and housing is out of control. And the only person who can clean this up is Donald Trump. You know, guys, I really, really love this country. And I've lived the American dream. And I want my kids, your kids, and all those little teeny Hulkamaniacs out there to live the American dream too. This November, guys, we can save the American dream for everyone. And Donald Trump is the president who will get the job done. So all you criminals, all you lowlifes, all you scumbags, all you drug dealers, and all you crooked politicians need to answer one question, brother. What you gonna do when Donald Trump and all the Trumpomaniacs run wild on you, brother?
What?
God
What is that? Neat? What?
And thank
Are they gonna come suck our dicks? What's happening? What are they gonna do? Dana White's on. Wife beater Dana White.
No pressure,
You've changed
no
since
demands.
karaoke, Hassan.
He asked me as a friend, and of course I said yes. Then, after I accepted his offer, he sent me a text message, and I just want to read to you a little piece of what President Trump wrote to me.
Punch your wife in the
Dana,
face.
I'm so honored that you will be
Your
doing the
swing is
introduction
weak, Dana.
at the National
I've
Republican
reviewed the
Convention.
footage.
Think of it as the biggest fight you ever had, a fight for
With
our
your
country
wife.
and even the world. I only wish you didn't have to interrupt your family trip, but I hope they understand they love you and they know how important this is. Now think about this. This man's running for president of the United States. He's fighting for the future of this country, and he's concerned about interrupting my family trip. That's the President Trump that I know.
Everyone's
A
always
man-
like, yo, he's my bestie. He calls me and shit. It's like, bro, yeah, you guys are all like rich and he wants something.
The mainstream media likes to push the narrative that he doesn't care about anyone but himself. I absolutely know that's not the truth because I've been friends with this guy for 25 years. And for the people who know me, they'll know this is true. I just want to make something very clear. Nobody in the Trump campaign has ever told me what to say. Nobody tells me what to say, and I'm nobody's puppet.
Why is he licking his lips like that? Is he on coke?
And I'm not telling you what to think. I'm telling you what I know. And I know President Trump. I know President Trump is a fighter. I've been saying this since 2015. Now look at what's happened over the last 10 years. We have all seen it with our own eyes.
I'm also trying to hold it together with the...
I'm in the tough guy business. And this man is the toughest, most resilient human being that I've ever met in my life.
Well, it's so funny seeing like 50-year-old divorced dads and like wife beaters, people who say the N-word all the time, almost to tears, talking about how fucking sick Donald Trump is.
So what's at stake here? The answer is in President Trump's text. And I quote, "A fight for our country." I know why he's running for president again. Why else would he
to
put
avoid
himself
jail time, to not go to jail.
back here?
To
We all
pardon
know he
himself.
doesn't need this. This guy's got a great life. He has a beautiful family, and he has achieved everything that you could possibly achieve in life. I know President Trump is literally putting his life on the line for something bigger than himself, and he's willing to risk it all because he loves this country.
There's nothing funnier than saying that about Donald Trump because he's like objectively a narcissistic, self-interested person, like very obviously.
And I know he wants what's best for the American people, all American people. I know he's running for president to save our American dream.
Even the fucking brown ones.
In the American dream. And I know the American dream is very real. Whether you were born in this country or came here from someplace else, this is the last real land of opportunity. President Reagan once said, government's first duty is to protect the people, not run their lives. And if you're buried in government red tape, how will you ever start your own business? If you're struggling to pay your bills,
oh my God,
how can you ever afford to start a family? And if you don't feel safe in your own town, why would you ever buy a house? I know that President Trump is fighting to save the American.
That's the hurdle. Stopping people from buying a house, bro. But they don't feel safe because there's Mexicans around.
We are choosing who we want to lead us in this fight. I know President Trump is a proven leader, a fearless leader, and this country was in a much better place when he was in the Oval Office. In my mind, the choice is clear. But this election, we all get to choose. I know I'm going to choose strength and security. I know I'm going to choose opportunity and prosperity. I know I'm going to choose real American leadership and a real American badass. And I'm not telling you what choice to make, and I'm not telling you what to think. I'm telling you what I know. I know America needs a strong leader, and the world needs a strong America.
No, we don't.
I know Donald J.
Please,
Trump
no more.
is the best choice for President of the United States.
Too strong.
My fellow
For too long.
Americans, it is my honor to introduce the 45th and soon-to-be 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
It's coming.
I can't hear you, but I know it's something good. So, I watched the video of what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania about 50 times. I think I was one of about 8 billion people around the world who watched it. And the more I watched it, the more it struck me that everything was different after that moment. Everything. And this convention is different. The nation is different. The world is different. Donald Trump is different. When he stood up after being shot in the face, bloodied, and put his hand up, I thought at that moment, that was a transformation. This was no longer a man. Well, I think it was divine intervention. But the effect that it had on Donald Trump, he was no longer just a political party's nominee or a former president or a future president. This was the leader of a nation. And I think there's a difference.
The funniest part about this is that Tucker Carlson, we know, despises Donald Trump. Just fucking hates him.
The president. But if you think about it, the presidency comes with great power, obviously. But if you think about it, that is a title that is bestowed by a process of some sort that can be subverted. And in the end, it does not confer by itself, as no title does, legitimacy. Just because you call yourself the president doesn't mean that much inherently. I can call my dog the CEO of Hewlett Packard. It doesn't mean she is. No, it's true. And you hate to say it, but it is also true, it is a fact, that you could take, I don't know, a mannequin, a dead person, and make him president. No, you could. I'm just saying theoretically possible. With enough.
God, he's so much better of a speaker than everyone else they've had so far. I hate him so much.
But being a leader is very different. It's not a title. It's organic. You can't name someone a leader.
Why does Tucker Carlson hate Trump? Because January 6th and like many of the things that Trump did that kind of cooked the Republican Party quite a bit. And Tucker Carlson was like tweeting up, I mean, not even tweeting up, texting up a storm, as we found out in court documents, that like he was just like, this guy's a fucking idiot. Why is he?
The most obvious to me. And I have to say, you know, I think it changed him. He reached out to Trump within hours of it that night. And what he said to me that night, having just been shot in the face, he said not a single word about himself. He said only how amazed he was and how proud he was of the crowd, which didn't run. And I thought two things. The first thing I thought was, well, of course they didn't run. His courage gave them heart. A leader's courage gives courage to his people. And the second thing I thought was, this is the selfish guy I've been hearing about for 9 years.
Lies?
Really not a word about himself, about his people, period. And the second thing I noticed, which I don't think anyone has remarked upon in public, but I'm just going to since I don't have a script, like why not, is that he turned down the most obvious opportunity in politics to inflame the nation after being shot. To inflame the nation, which is an opportunity that almost every other politician I've ever met, and certainly his opponents, would have taken instantly. And they would have said, well, what is this? How did he get shot? Like, how did this happen? And those are real questions that we have to get to the bottom of. But in the moments, the days, the week after the shooting, he did not say that. He did his best to bring the country together. And I thought, this is the divisive figure? This is the irresponsible person? No. This is the most responsible, unifying behavior of a leader I think I've ever seen. So the question is...
The most unifying figure.
He's leading us. And I could go on for hours.
Except J.D. Vance did that, and he's Trump's VP pick.
From the famous escalator ride 9 years ago until today of Donald Trump's public life has been to remind us of one fact, which is a leader's duty is to his people, to his country, and to no other. That's the point. That's the only point. And another word for this is democracy. Democracy, in case you're a little sick of being beaten in the face with democracy on television, actual democracy is the proposition that the citizens of a country own that country. They're not renters, they're not serfs, they're not slaves, they are the owners of the country. And for that to be true, their leaders have to represent them, which is another way of saying they have to do what the people want them to do, or a close approximation thereof. But if they completely ignore what people want, not just 1 year, but generationally, say for 50 years, then it may be, I don't know what, it's not a democracy. And so I think the entire Trump project, paradoxically, is attacked as an enemy of democracy, is to return democracy to the United States. Hey, let's pay attention to what people actually want. And the lack of interest in that question in Washington.
Wow, fire Joe Biden. Where's the call for unity?
Lawmakers stepping over the prostrate bodies of their fellow citizens ODing on drugs to go cast votes to send money to some foreign country. Yeah, actually.
Everyone there loves Israel and wants to give more money to Israel, bitch.
In the past 4 years that we lost in World War II. Yeah. Our bloodiest war. More than we lost in World War II. Does anybody care? It is pathetic. It is pathetic. And do you hear a single word from Washington about doing anything about it? We know where the drugs are coming from. We know the supply routes. The U.S. military spent billions bombing the Ho Chi Minh Trail. You don't see our commander-in-chief suggesting that we use our military to protect our country or the lives of its citizens. No. That's for Ukraine. And it's too much, actually. It's too insulting. It's too insulting. It's a middle finger in the face of every American. It's a very clear statement, which is unmistakable. And that is, we don't care about you. And Donald Trump, whatever you say about him, and I think he's a wonderful person. I know him well. By the way, the funniest person I've ever met in my life, actually. You can't be funny without perspective or without empathy, which is true. But everything else about Trump aside, he actually cares because he's interested in the people who live here because that's his job. A father's job, his duty is to his family. An officer's duty is to his men. A president's duty is to his citizens. And he seems to be the only one who thinks that. And in his choice for vice president, J.D. Vance, he's made that really clear. J.D. Vance, I'll say this about him, is a thoroughly decent man, and I'll just admit it, a friend of mine, one of the very few politicians in Washington who actually is very close to his own wife, which is wonderful to see. And she's wonderful, actually. But J.D. Vance has views that are closer to Trump's voters than anyone else in Washington in office. Therefore, he's the vice president. That's called democracy. So I will stop on just one point, and that is what's happened over the past month since the debate, and particularly on Saturday in Butler. I think a lot of people are wondering, what is this? This doesn't look like politics. Something bigger is going on here. I think even people who don't believe in God are beginning to think, well, maybe there's something to this, actually. And I'm starting to think it's going to be okay, actually. I do think that. In the day after the midterm elections in 2018, Antifa came to my house. The Democratic Party's militia, okay? I was at work. It was obvious when I was at work because it was public. My wife was home alone. They tried to come in through the front door. They terrorized her. She hid in our pantry. It was on television. It was horrible, actually. It was, I'm not whining about it. It wasn't getting shot in the face, but it wrecked our day. And the next morning, we're lying in bed, and the phone rings for my wife, and it's Donald Trump, who's not like a regular text buddy of Donald Trump's. She picks it up. Hello? Susie, it's Donald Trump. And it's coming through. I could hear it. I'm lying in bed. Whoa. And the first thing he says is, I'm going to stand guard outside your house. And she goes, oh, it's so nice. And he says, I'll never forget this as long as I live. He says, there's a lot of hate out there. And she said, there is, Mr. President. And then he says, but there's a lot of love. There's a lot of love.
Oh, my God.
And we are seeing that love. I don't think it's human love.
Wait, that's weird. So why did he text his friend? Why did he text other people on Fox News payroll that how much he fucking despised Donald Trump? I hate him passionately. I blew up at Peter Navarro today in frustration. I actually like Peter, but I can't handle much more of this when he was talking about how the election is stolen and yada, yada, yada. That's very weird. So Donald Trump did all that for him, and this fake fuck was still talking about how he hates Donald Trump?